Hey, it's your boy Easy, and on today's episode of Easy Opens, we're going to be taking a look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mirage Comics Zog figure from NECA. Alright, so here is Zog in his packaged glory. Now, some real quick fun facts about Zog. He's an anthropomorphic alien Triceratops type creature from a distant cluster of floating asteroids known as the Triceraton homeworlds. First appearance was Mirage Comics TMNT Volume 1, Number 7 from February of 1986. Alright, so let's get this figure free from its plastic prison and see what we think about Zog. So this figure is amazing. It is a fantastic representation of the character from page to plastic. NECA has yet again knocked it out of the park and made a really awesome representation of this character for our shelves. And I'm so excited to have this in my collection. This thing was impressive on the shelf just in the package alone, and it weighed a bunch. Well, it felt like it weighed a ton, but then once it got out of the package, it doesn't quite have the weight you would think it would. It's a little deceptive, but it's still chunky. It's still very chunky. But yeah, this thing is impressive. I mean, just, it is a force, much like the Triceratons are when they show up in the comic books or in the cartoons. This thing showing up in my toy room was I was kind of nervous a little bit. I'm like, this thing's gonna wreck house. So, because again, like, it's got the best of everything. It's a dinosaur, and dinosaurs are just inherently cool. Everyone knows that. It's a known fact. And then giving them the ability to stand on their hind legs and have thumbs just is like combining the best things about humanity with dinosaurs. And then here we go with a plastic version of it on our shelves to fight our anthropomorphic Ninja Turtles as well. So this figure stands at a little over 8 inches tall. And like I said a second ago, it's hefty, but it's not, it feels a little less hefty than you think it would by looking at it, and especially compared to how heavy it was in the package with all the accessories and everything like that. So let's go ahead and talk about the paint and sculpt on this thing. Alright, so this thing looks amazing. The paint and sculpt details in the skin and the black lines, the hard black lines that give it like that feeling of like it literally jumping off the comic page, just really work very well together and just bring this figure to life. Like all of the texture on the skin, and it's just so well done. Although I feel like if my sleeves ripped off, at least like, you know, and stopped at the wrists, that I'd probably take those off. Like I feel like that's gotta be annoying for him, or at least that's how I would feel. I would feel like this is annoying. It's kind of like when you go to the concert and you have the bracelet that says you can drink or admission or whatever, and then you're like, after the show, you're like, oh, I don't need this anymore. Like, why does he still have those? I'm sure there's a comic image of him with that on there, or there's some reason why they did it. But, I mean, they're well done, and they look great, but, like, I just feel like it's kind of annoying. But, I don't know, maybe that's just me. Also, he's got the red triangle on his shoulder as well as on his chest to make sure that Rivers Cuomo knows the truth, so there's no question here. So one of the things that I love the most is the head sculpt. It is just awesome. And the thing I think I love the most about it, and I wasn't really expecting this, is kind of a subtle thing, is that the jaw on the mouth where it articulates and everything is blended so well, and it opens so much. It's just, it gives so much life to this character, to this figure, and I'm really appreciative of it, because I just did a review of a Pokemon figure that had a hinged jaw as well, and was like, didn't realize like how important that was going to be to my like liking of the character, or the figure, I keep saying. And yeah, so then going from that to this, I'm like very appreciative of the work that they put in to make this thing look, it almost looks like one piece, like it's actual skin that's kind of being, you know, formed and molded or whatever, or moved. I don't know, whatever you want to say. But it's just awesome. And yeah, they did an amazing job with this. All right, so let's talk about the accessories that you're going to get with Zog. He's got 8 different hands, a blaster gun, and a knife with spikes on the finger guard, both from the cover of Mirage Volume 1, Book 20. 2 grenades, and a bomb of some sort. All right, so let's talk about the articulation you're going to get out of Zog. So starting with the head, he's got 360 at the neck, which is awesome, but even more awesome is that he can look up almost all the way. Like, just that's a lot. That's really awesome. Let's see. Oh, his mouth opens up, which is great and looks really good. The way they blended the jaw, that looks fantastic. Also, his tongue can move around a little bit, which, you know, some of y'all might be into that. And yeah, there's that. Let's see. His shoulder, 360 at the shoulder. He's got a swivel at the bicep, and then it's got a single joint at the elbow. That was the word I was looking for. 360 at the wrist, and a hinge as well, which mine are still really tight because I haven't gotten to mess around with him too much yet, but that's awesome. He's got 360 at the waist, so he can twist and shout, and a little rocker joint there, so he's got all kinds of movement at the waist. His legs, let's see here, they're on a ball joint there. He can get pretty good split going on, and yeah, you get forward kick, pretty decent. Actually, that's really good. And then back, not so much, but you know, how often is a Triceraton kicking backwards? He's got single jointed knee, and it's also got a little bit of swivel action going on there. I think it's 360, but mine's a little tight. He's got some ankle rockers at the, ankle. And then he's also got a hinge at the foot right there. You can see that, but again, mine are like super tight. And yeah, let's see what else we got. Oh, the tail. So the tail pops in, and it's got a hinge on it, so you can rotate it, but then also you can move it side to side. And it's also a little bendy. I'm not sure how bendy it's supposed to be, but I'm able to get mine a little bit bent around, so your mileage may vary on that. But that is all the articulation that you're going to get out of Zog. All right, now let's see how he compares to some other figures you might have in your collection. Here he is with the black and white NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic figures from way back in the day. Here he is with the NECA 1987 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series figures. Here he is with the DC Collectibles Batman TMNT figures. Here he is next to the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Crimson Guard and Marvel Legends Wolverine figures. Here he is next to DC Collectibles Corrupted Superman and SH Figuarts Jesse. Here he is next to Storm Collectibles Baraka and Figma's Marnie. And here he is next to some bigger figures from DC Collectibles Killer Croc and World of Nintendo's Bowser. Alright, so final thoughts on Zog. I've been a huge fan of the Triceratons since I got their action figure from Playmates back in the day. Didn't really care for how they appeared in the 1987 animated series. It was a little weird, but what definitely got me to become a fan was the cover art to the NES game TMNT 3 Manhattan Projects. The one, I think it's either Don or Raph, is fighting off one of them on the cover, one of the Triceratons, while like Manhattan's like up in the, up in the air, just like, and you don't know what's gonna happen. I loved that cover so much, and it made me fear the Triceratons, not just because of like how big they were, but like, I don't know, they just looked like this insurmountable force that you were gonna have some casualties all said and done if you made it out alive. And I really loved all of that the Triceratons bring to the table, and then reading about them in the Mirage books for the podcast really cemented my respect and appreciation for the Triceratons, because every time they appear, you're a little nervous as to what's going to happen. And that's what made those early Mirage books, and really all of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles books, really fun and really cool. and the Triceratons really added to that excitement when they showed up. And NECA added to my excitement of this line whenever they showed this figure, and it showed up at my Target, and now it's showing up on my shelf. I am so into this figure. It's awesome, and it's big, and it's chunky, and everything about it looks like NECA just translated it from the page. Like they have some future tech where they can just look at an image and just make it some Star Trek tech that they can just replicate what was on the page and make it 3D, like some far advanced 3D printer. That's what it looks like here. It's huge, it's mean looking, and I feel like this thing could come alive right now and just unalive me at any moment. And I wouldn't be surprised. The paint and sculpt, fantastic. The neck and the mouth articulation, the fact that it can look up so high, and then the mouth just, oh, it's so cool. And then the teeth making it like pop just like against the orange and the purple. Oh, it's so good. And the tongue articulation is just over the top, and I love it so much. We didn't need that, but I'm so glad NECA gave it to us. And it's one of those things you don't think you need as an action figure collector, but when you have it there, you're definitely playing with that tongue. If you're not, you're lying. And the other thing I was going to mention was that when I first saw that they were putting this figure out, I guess I didn't realize that it was definitely Zog. I guess I just didn't pay attention enough, or I was so excited that I just was like, Triceraton, I don't care which one it is. But this is definitely Zog, and the fact that you can't buy multiples of them, now it would be expensive. I kind of wish that you could, but at the same time, considering that this is very specifically Zog, makes me feel like they're going to reuse some of this sculpt, hopefully, to make some more Triceratons with some different accessories or a different look that's slightly different. More like for instance, like the Boxer's Triceraton, and potentially the naked Triceraton. I mean, I don't know. Your collection's mileage may vary, but I need both of these to feel complete in my Mirage collection. Maybe that's just me. So all that being said, this figure looks, feels fantastic. If you're an action figure fan, if you're a dinosaur fan, if you're a dinosaur action figure fan, if you're a Turtles fan, if you just like weird stuff on your shelf, I don't think you can go wrong with picking up Zog, because he is impressive, he is huge, and I couldn't imagine an action figure collector who would be disappointed to have this in their collection. Alright, well that's going to do it for me today. Thanks so much for watching, and if you liked what you saw, hit that like button, and if you want to see more from me, please hit that subscribe button as well, and let me know in the comments if I missed anything, if you love the Triceratons, which version's your favorite, how many of these did you buy, anything you want to let me know, or anything you want to talk about, hit me up in the comments. And yeah, and if for some reason you want to hear more from me, be sure to check out my other podcast / YouTube channel called Turtle Soup Show or Podcast, I don't know, one or the other, where my friend Ryan and I talk about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at least once a month, but usually twice. And yeah, we just did episode 300, so you've got a lot to listen to if you're a Turtles fan and you just enjoy two dudes making jokes and talking about TMNT. We're there for you. So yeah, again, thank you so much, and Elsetime.